Welcome. Okay, Fernando, I will. Allow your experience to be what it is. Allow the universe to be what it is. Whichever way it appears to you. Do nothing, simply be. Align yourself with the universe, with the vastness. Because you and the universe are not separate. You belong to the same reality. There is no separate you which stands apart from the universe, from the totality. There is a natural harmony in the universe, the flow. You do not stand apart from this harmony. There is nothing which is lost or gained in the totality, in the wholeness. There's no loss or gain. So there is nothing that you need to protect. Nothing that you need to improve or hold on to or safeguard. That which is cannot not be. That which is not has never been. You have to allow for the complete annihilation. Not to stand in the way of the complete annihilation. Because reality is untouched. Images on the screen, they appear and disappear. The screen remains. No need to hold on to any image, to allow for its complete annihilation. The me, my person, the feelings that I identify with or that I hold on to, or that I rely upon to define me. Those feelings you have to allow for their complete annihilation. Effortlessly, they do annihilate, they do disappear. You don't need to improve or try to improve the images on the screen. when you move towards the screen to improve the image, you only touch the screen. There is no image. It's the screen. An image appears and disappears, and you keep thinking, oh, it should have been otherwise. Why didn't this image stay longer? Why did this image appear this way or that way? But it's 100% gone. Although it is 100% gone, sometimes we are obsessed. We're obsessing about the image. About the state, about the experience, about the feeling, about the emotion. And we overlook being. The absolute certainty of being. Which is the peace. Because being is not personal, it's not being somebody or being a special, whatever. You imagine yourself to be somebody good, somebody bad, good today, bad yesterday, whatever. Images and stories and nothing to do with the universe, nothing to do with reality. We do that because we enjoy doing that. Even feeling bad, somehow it's something rather than nothing, something that we play with, something that we can bite our teeth into. I'm a good person, I'm a bad person. One day, good person, next day, another bad person, then good again and bad again. While There is no person. Just a game we like to play. Being is not a person. It's what we all are. The essence of existence is consciousness, being, isness. What appears does not refer to itself, refers to its essence. A tree does not refer to itself. It refers to its essence. Which is isness. The thingness of all things is not a thing. The isness of all things is not a thing. Being is not a person. It's the essence. It is the reality of I. Unhappiness is this imaginary separation. Believing yourself to be a man, a woman, a person. Giving power to the feeling that I am this or I am that. Overlooking the reality of consciousness, the reality of that which perceives, the reality of that which is. The feelings of guilt are simply about a me, a bad me, a better me. I was a bad me, I should have been a better me. It creates an imaginary personal power, imaginary personal self. And then the emotions arise. And we try to fix the emotions. Via therapy, via various medicines, various means. But the source of these negative emotions is this belief that I exist as personal self, a good self, a bad self, pretty self. That belief in the feeling that I am somebody who's living in time and space, struggling to get somewhere, or change something. While it is possible for us to harmonize ourselves with the natural state, the effortless, the totality, is to be the flow effortlessly, to let the bygones be bygones, to be freshly in this moment, not knowing. Life is always movement. That's what life is, movement. And the essence of life is peace and stillness, freedom. In the movement, it's a flow. The field of attractions and repulsions, vibrations, energetics, sound waves, electromagnetic fields, brain waves, appearing as wind and as thought and as sensations, the sensation of the sunshine on your skin, the perception of a creative thought, the remembrance of a dear one, the feeling of hunger, desire to travel, to meet friends for dinner. Being in the company of friends. Who share moments of laughter and sometimes some things that may appear stupid to us. Images on the screen. But the screen is the love. The screen itself is the aliveness of love. The creative field of freedom, beauty. We are not separate from any of it. There is no personal will. Don't trouble yourself with personal will or blaming yourself. What personal will are you talking about? Are we talking about? It's universal will. Bodies born and bodies dying. Seeds falling on the ground, being carried by the wind. Some seeds being carried onto rocky terrain and they dry out. Other get carried upon fertile land and they grow to be whatever they grow to be. It's not personal doer. The doer is God's will, God's doing. The universal doer. I am this aware presence, God's awareness, via a particular body-mind. Awareness is not different across different body-minds. It's the same God's awareness, whether it's looking through one window or another window. It's the same perceiver, the same reality. Creating all perceptions, all windows. Every moment, every instant, like this instant right now. That which you perceive, this image that you perceive. All images, zillions of images. Appearing out of the one source and being perceived by the same eye, the same awareness. Do not mistake yourself to be a particular character, particular object, a particular form. Remain not knowing. Being, universal beingness. Being not knowing. So if there are any questions, anything you would like to explore, please make sure to unmute your mic. Hey, Chris.
Magdi. I've been reflecting on your comments to me about knowing that I am awareness, knowing that there's awareness without a body-mind. So I've been exploring that in my experience. I'm not exactly sure what my question is, but there's more, and maybe this will just come in time. There is a bit of what I would call an intuition, but it feels like a feeling in the body of knowing that that is true.
Mm-hmm.
And yet that feels like a phenomenal thing. So I just would like, if you would just share more about that knowing, or if that's not the right word. Do you understand my question?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So your experience whatever you perceive, any perception doesn't appear to itself. A perception doesn't perceive a perception, right? A thought doesn't perceive a thought. A sensation doesn't perceive a sensation. A feeling doesn't perceive a feeling or doesn't perceive a thought. So whatever appears to something.
Mm.
Whatever it is that knows it. Yeah. So a thought appears, but that which knows the thought, does that appear?
Mm.
And if it does appear, to what does it appear? It must appear to something. Then the question would be, then if it does appear, then it appears to something. Then the question is that something to which that which does not, that which perceives appears to, does that appear? So a thought, a perception, a sensation appears. It does not appear to another thought. It does not appear to another sensation. It appears to whatever it is that perceives it. But that which perceives does not appear. In other words, the reality which perceives doesn't appear out of that which is perceived. There is a koan in the Zen tradition that says, you know your face now, you can see your face now in the mirror. Or what does your face look like before you were born? It's a koan, you know, those you know what the koan is, right? So there is the fact that there is an experience, that there is something, is a proof, evidence that there is something to which this something appears. That's fine to follow this reasoning. But then experientially, the experience of awareness is not a thought experience. It's not like, I think I'm aware, or I know I'm aware because there is a thought that I'm aware. I perceive the thought, I'm aware, and therefore, oh, okay, I am aware. And when the thought is absent, I don't see the thought that I'm aware, then I can say, oh, gee, I'm not aware. How can you say, if you say you're not aware because you're not perceiving the thought, what is it that knows that it's not aware? I am aware that I'm not aware. Because I don't perceive the thought that says I am aware. You see, you can't get around awareness as an experiential. Experientially, you cannot get around awareness, and experientially, you cannot derive awareness from a thought, from a perception, from body, from an experience, from a brain activity. Because even brain activity is basically what thoughts and images and memories, they appear. Brain activity appears. Brain activity doesn't create reality. It is something that perceives the brain activity. So the brain activity doesn't arise to another brain activity. It arises to whatever it is that knows it or perceives it or is aware of it. That something is not created by a brain activity or by a phenomenal process of some sort or the other. So in science, we're trying to study phenomena and to find, through the study of phenomena, we're looking for reality. We're looking for that bit of matter, that's what we're looking for. Is it boson, whatever we're looking for? But some we can find out in the study of science of what is the process, what is the dance, how does movement A flow with movement B. We can study relationships and we can get some understanding about the phenomenal dance, but not about the reality. Because the assumption that reality is a result of a phenomenal matter, as a result of movement of matter or movement of mind, basically saying that a thought creates reality. But a thought is perceived. The reality is already there. There is something there which is perceiving the thought. So in terms of awareness, awareness is experiential, not experiential phenomenally. That was not via thoughts, via feelings. I feel like I'm more aware. I feel, no, that's a different thing. That's not what we're talking about. No, it's a nominal knowingness, meaning it knows itself.
So some of the way this is landing on me right now is identifying with the reality of reality. Does that make sense? Like, I know awareness. I'm trying to find other words so that I could. The realness is me.
Yes. So
like not phenomenally, I understand that. And I understand the although it's become a concept to me, this, I am the reality that of what hears these words.
Yes.
Right.
Just consider that there is something rather than nothing. Whatever the something is, it could be a hallucination, it could be a dream, whatever, there is something rather than nothing. Given that there is something rather than nothing, then there is a reality. Because it's something rather than nothing, whatever that knows that there is something rather than nothing is what we refer to as reality. So there is reality. There is something rather than nothing means, it means there is reality. There is isness. Isness is, being is, and non-being is not. That was Parmenides. Being is. There is something rather than nothing. If you start with that, with something rather than nothing, meaning there is, we say, I use the term reality, or being is being. Experientially, this being is awareness, meaning this being is aware. Awareness and being are the two sides of the same coin. Being is the sat and awareness is the chit, sat chit. In the sense, sat chitananda. Sat is awareness, is a being. Chit is awareness. So there is being. And this being is aware. I'm not talking about a human being. There is being, meaning there is something rather than nothing. And it's aware. Yes. And this is what we refer to when we say aware, we say, I am aware. So this awareness is what we refer to as I. But this I is not a limited body, mind, or limited thing, this I, is no limit, because there is no limit to awareness. Awareness is not 5 meters long, or it's not has a density, has a particular density or viscosity, or has a certain beginning and a certain ending, or it's getting older. Awareness isn't getting older every day, right? So this awareness, this beingness, which is awareness, being aware, is not evolving in time and space. It's not existing in time and space. It is the isness of that which is. It is the essence of that which is. It is the essence. It is the reality. It is the heart. And that is what we refer to as I am aware. The I is not separate from awareness. It's not this awareness and I am aware. So the I / awareness is just one. I is awareness. Awareness is I, but not a personal I, universal I, meaning an I that has awareness that has no borders, no location, no dimension, no phenomenal dimension. Yes. So you do not need to refer to yourself as somebody. You have to, because awareness is not derived from thought. It's not derived from the maturity of the mind or the maturity of the body. It's not derived from your understanding. Understanding about awareness is awareness understanding itself. A confusion about awareness is awareness playing the game via a particular body-mind, playing the game of, I don't know, I'm looking for myself. I think I'm a happy man. I think I'm a better person, whatever. It's because consciousness is complete freedom. It's creative. So it's like when you're an artist, you're not creating, you're creating whatever is arising to you. It could be some dragons, you paint some dragons, or you make a piece of theater you create a piece of theater with a lot of drama and love and sweet times, and then jealousies and anger and God knows what, because it's the creative aspect of consciousness. Yes. So there is no evidence in your inquiry that consciousness depends on the body mind, depends on the brain, depends on the aliveness of the body, blah blah blah. It's a belief that consciousness is personal, depends on the body, is limited, is improving, etc. Now, when you become clear that, no, there is obviously consciousness. I am conscious, but there is no evidence that this consciousness is a male consciousness or a female consciousness or a tall consciousness, or is located in the kitchen or owns a house. But consciousness is no experience outside of consciousness, not possible. right? So then the belief in the idea that you are the limited consciousness depending on some great awakening or whatever. Sometimes we say, oh, well, I would awaken, then I will know what I am, I mean, that's a story, of course, because consciousness never awakens, right? I mean, it doesn't go to sleep and awaken. I mean, yeah, the body does, the mind gets confused. But all of that is the game of awareness, of consciousness. Because consciousness is an uninterrupted reality. Right? The essence is, you cannot remove the essence, you cannot remove the thingness out of the thing. You can remove the thing. Like if you have a table, then you can burn the table. The table is no longer there, but the table wasn't the wood. There is the thingness of the thing is not the table. This is essence. So any thought about you, either you're imagining you're imagining yourself to be a limited consciousness or not. If you're not imagining yourself a limited consciousness, then it's a natural state. This is a natural state, the natural state of not knowing, being not knowing. Whenever you imagine yourself to be somebody, a particular body, I am this and I am that, then you need to let that old belief of defining yourself, defining consciousness via the phenomenal realm. You have to let it go. Of course, the body is male, the body is an engineer, the body is a swimmer, whatever. I mean, the body is a dancer, an artist. Okay, that's not an issue. I mean, this car is a Toyota, this car is a Ford. There's no issue with that. This tree is an oak tree, this is a palm tree. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So you live in your essence, not knowing that which you are. I am, but I am not defined in any way. And you tend to the movie. There is hunger. You feed the body. There is a thought about getting together with friends. You invite friends over. There is a thought about creating a new sculpture. Whatever the flow is that allows you, but you're not identified. You're not identifying yourself, separating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because a separation is not real, not a real separation. But it feels that it's real, and then we feel unhappy, we feel limited, we feel troubled, concerned, worried. Oh my God, how am I doing? Why is this happening to me? Because we are separating ourselves, you see.
Thank you.
So it's an important understanding that consciousness, the reality, the essence of being, that being itself is not dependent on its creation, on phenomena. Being is there is no because, or being is because non-being proves that being is, no, being is an absolute. Then you can relax, your body, your sensation in your body. You relax into being. You can function, don't worry. We will function. When there is a need to function, the body will function because it's wired for functioning, for survival, for play, for movement. That's an inner relaxation into being. Sort of a cellular relaxation into being. Okay.
John?
Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, it is Mark. I'm
Yes.
still fumbling with getting Zoom figured out. It's got an old name that I used on the screen. But
Yes,
you have me as Mark. That works.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So I can't remember the exact quote, but someone, well, it was said that regarding serendipity is something I'm interested in. If you have any thoughts about it to share, was indicated that, again, I'm struggling with the exact quote, but if we are sort of progressing, or we are our understanding, our thoughts are beginning to be in more alignment, our conceptions, our concepts are being in more alignment with the truth, that serendipity seems to increase.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. Does that make any sense?
Yes. So being is borderless. It's one being, one reality. There isn't like the Northern Ocean and the Southern Ocean. In being is one being, and as the structures of separation that exist within our mind and our body, meaning as the whirlpool relaxes and you get further and further away from the center of the whirlpool, then you become more and more in tune with the ocean, with the surrounding vastness and all what is unfolding in that vastness. As you do contractions in your body, which are some habitual or obsessive physiological manifestations, sort of a physiological hypnosis within the body at the feeling level. Whenever these nodes, these contractions relax, then the field surrounding these contractions becomes available effortlessly to you. The distance that we experience in under the impression of personal identification dissolves, and as it dissolves, we merge into the universal consciousness, the universal field, which is our true self, our true nature. The dancing around the stone, the stone disappears and we're no longer dancing in a circle. We're free. We become free from that pattern. So we find ourselves free and somehow roaming in the entire space.
With increased harmony.
With harmony, with increased harmony and the flow, ease and effortlessness. And yes, it's becomes more and more common, very common to experiences of serendipity and experiences of sort of intuitions that manifest themselves, sort of, Tara and I we're so it's like there isn't a day that goes by where there wouldn't be experiences where she would share something that I was just about to share with her, or I would share something. She was just as if I'm speaking her words or she's speaking my words. But it's because consciousness is borderlessness. There are no borders. In fact, we have access to the entire field with everybody's thoughts, and the entire creative field is the creative field of consciousness. It's not the creative field of a particular mind. Mm-hmm. A thought does not create a thought. A body does not create a thought. A brain activity does not create a thought. It's just a manifestation, expression. It's one way of looking at a thought. Is one way of looking at a thought is via the electroencephalogram, whatever, to perceive brain waves, but that's just a representation, that's an imagery of a thought at the brain level. So thought is not created by another thought, or by a body, or by a feeling, or by an object, or it's all created by consciousness. And consciousness is not some concept. It's our reality. It's being. Being is aware. Being is consciousness. So yes, you will find more and more, not just serendipity, but also, like Francis often says, and it's definitely my experience, that impersonal thoughts get realized. But personal thoughts don't. Impersonal thoughts get realized. They get realized in ways that are really unexpected, and so. That's also quite amazing, It goes against or quite different from the principle of personal effort and personal endeavor, personal strategies. It's more God strategizing, sort of he hears your impersonal desire and manifests it to you in one way or the other, in whichever way God feels like doing it. As a metaphor, of course, I don't want to get into God and what is God, and
I'm following.
Yes, I know you are. And also like the compassion, the sense of compassion is because we are one in this ocean. We also sense the ocean senses the whirlpools wherever there are whirlpools. And the metaphor of the whirlpool is used in different ways. I sometimes use the metaphor of whirlpool to refer to the individual, to the particular mind, to a specific mind. But in this case, I'm using the whirlpool in terms of referencing the identification, the sense of identification with a certain dance, with a certain phenomenal representation. So just because I want to clarify that I use the concept whirlpool in the metaphor in a different meaning at times.
Okay.
So the compassion is this, sensing the impression of limitation and identity and anguish, which is also the creation of that one field, the creation of consciousness. And because consciousness is one, it's creating its feeling. It's creating, and it's feeling, it's sensing, it's emoting, it's doing the whole dance, the whole dance, and you become also in tune and sensitive to that universal dance, but it's not. At some point, it ceases to create in you or to trigger in you the personal sense of limitation. So this is an open field of awareness, but it doesn't get defined or limited by that which it perceives. Its freedom remains, the sense of deep satisfaction and inner peace is no longer subject to anything, really.
No longer subject to
anything, to any phenomenal. Is no longer subject to
not dependent
to a
on
certain mind state or a certain experience or a certain feeling. Yeah. And there may be at the body mind level, of course, feelings, sensations, but they don't belong to a person. They belong to the body. Their appearances, like their appearances within the body, and in this appearance that relates to the body is appearing within consciousness. And consciousness is not an appearance; it's just a borderless field of being.
Good. Well, thank you. That's helpful.
All right, Mark. Okay. Okay, well, then thank you all. Lovely to be with you. Thank you. Be well.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay.